Everybody come to order, please. Before we start our regular council meeting, we need to have a public hearing on the adoption of an ordinance approving an amendment to the project plan for redevelopment district number 1 of the city of Lowell, Arkansas. Said ordinance is on the council's agenda as new business item A. Basically, what this hearing is over is to move Dixieland Street into the new TIF district. Does anyone have any comments? No comments. The public hearing is closed. Now we'll start the regular council meeting. We'll start with our Pledge of Allegiance, followed by an invocation by Johnny Harp, pastor of the Lakeview Baptist Church, Cave Springs, chairman of the board of directors of United Way of Northwest Arkansas, and a volunteer with the Lowell Recreation Association.
Day that you've given us. Thank you, Father, for all the blessings you've given us, most of all for the love that you share with us each day. Lord, thank you for this group of people here that set forth to do business for this community. I want to pray that you bless it in a special way. Everything that's done here today, Lord, be in accordance with your will. We pray this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Roll call, please.
Kamala Lamont. Here. Jerry Foley.
Here.
Eric Shine. Absent. Darren Brock.
Here.
Keith Williams.
Here.
Carol Harmon.
Here.
Marty Latham.
Here.
Paula Allred.
Here.
We do have a quorum.
Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda, which includes the Lowell City Council minutes, regular meeting July 10, 2007, and a financial statement for June 2007. Any comments?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
If I could I ask that on these financial statements that it be itemized under where the cell phones are, all those itemized as to who has a cell phone and how much that bill is, and to also have the salaries of all the employees listed on the budget report.
I'll make note of that.
Thank you.
Any other comments? I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
Roll call, please.
Keith Williams.
Yes.
Marty Latham.
Yes.
Paula Allred.
Yes.
Carol Harmon.
Yes.
Kamala Lamont.
Yes.
Darren Brock.
Yes.
Jerry Foley.
Yes.
Eric Shine.
Present.
Was that a yes or no? It was the consent agenda, the minutes and the financial report.
Yes.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda, which we'll use as part of the public forum. I have a letter to read. My name is Mighty Sampson. I am 11 years old and everybody loves me. On the 4th of July, I went with my dad to check on our garden next to Piles Concrete on 71B. It was too hot for me to stay in the car, so my dad let me out to get some fresh air. When he set me down, I got scared and ran down the drive. I did not know where I was, so I ran across 71B and almost got hit by a big truck. Boy, an angel must have been watching over my shoulder. I was so lucky. A very nice lady came driving by and saw that I was confused and picked me up. Boy, was I glad. She took me to her house and fed and watered me and talked to me. I don't know, but I guess she was my godmother because she was at the right place at the right time. If she hadn't been there, I don't know what I would have done. I know I wouldn't have found my way home. I was really scared and did not know what to do or where to turn. My dad lost about 10 years that day, I know. He was afraid that he wouldn't see me again. My dad and Mom will be indebted to Charlene Beard forever, I know. Please come and see me when you can. I would like that. Charlene is my hero. Mighty Sampson is a dog owned by Curtis and Therese Wagner. And if Charlene Beard will come forward, I have a plaque for her from Curtis and Therese Wagner. And here is a card from the Chamber of Commerce for your goodwill. Thank you very much.
Actually, the dog was found before it was reported lost. And I blame that on the quick thinking of our police department of Lowell. Wasn't anybody any more glad than I was. Anyway, he's safe. And Charlene, we love you.
Without objection, I would like to move item B under new business. Oops, excuse me. I need to finish with the public forum. I'm sorry. Guy Shoemaker.
Mr. Mayor, council members, as you know, I pledged a certain amount of money to the city for the new city hall. I challenge every member of this council here to donate $100 to the city hall, and I would match it. Paula, it's open to you. You contribute $100, and I'll match it. Jerry, the same goes for you. Now, I've already put the money in for Keith Williams, Community Le Mans, and Darren Brock. I'd like to see for them to take $100 of that $3,000 they get every year and put it into the City Hall building. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Guy. Reverend Johnny Harp.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, council members. My name is Johnny Harp. I'm pastor of Lakeview Baptist Church in Cave Springs, Arkansas. I was in First Baptist Church of Lowell for 9.5 years, so I'm in love with Lowell. I've seen it grow a long time. I'm in a position over here where our church is in need of a band that's handicap accessible. We have an older lady in our congregation who is no longer able to come to church without the ability of a handicap band to come and get her. We have a van, but she's unable to get into it. Long and short of it is we'd like the opportunity for you consider the purchase, for us to be able to purchase the blue and white van that was donated to the city a while back. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Johnny. Terry Sayer.
I'd like to reserve my comments to Section 8, Item A on the agenda.
Thank you. Without objection, I would like to move items A and B under new business up to the present time. Any objection?
No. Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
can I also amend the agenda?
You can make a motion.
Well, I make a motion to amend the agenda to add that the Cave Spring Church buy the bus, buy our bus that we have out here from Ozark Transit. That's the bus he was speaking of.
Do I hear a motion to second that?
I made the motion. We need a second.
That's what I say. Do I hear a second? No second.
Did no one understand what I said? He wants to purchase the Ozark Transit bus that was donated to us that we no longer use. Whenever the mayor was having an auction of all of the excess vehicles in the city, that was one that was to be sold. And I believe it was Mr. Williams that said, no, let's wait and see if there's a church comes up that needs it. You remember that, Keith?
Actually, I said let's hold on and see if the city needs to use it. See if we can use it in Mudtown days and see if there's anything we can actually put it to good use for. I never mentioned a church buying it.
Okay, well, I stand corrected on that. Well, now we have a charity that needs it. Is there any objections?
I think he needs to talk to the mayor, and the mayor bring the proper paperwork to the council. I don't think we need to negotiate that. I think our mayor does.
Without a second, we'll move on. Without objection, I'd like to move A and B under new business into the current position and handle the TIF ordinance at this time. Any objections? Item A, an ordinance amending the project plan for redevelopment District 1 of the city of Lowell, Arkansas, and prescribing other matters relating thereto. Basically, what this does is moves Dixieland Street into the TIF district, which is the next item on the agenda. Any questions? Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any questions?
Did we get a first on that? Did someone move to do that, Mr. Mayor?
Move to to suspend the rule.
To do what?
You're going to give a motion to suspend the rule to consider the ordinance, I think. No,
We've already done that.
here's where we are, y'all. We've moved it up the agenda. That's not really an amendment. We've just moved it up the agenda by consent. And now we're looking, I think the ordinance for consideration is ordinance A, 9A, the ordinance amending the TIF. So what would be entertained now is typically a motion to suspend the rule and consider it now. And then if that passed by 2/3.
Mr. Mayor, I'll help you out on this. I'd like to move that we suspend the rules, place this on third and final reading, and read by title only.
I'll second that.
Any comments? Roll call.
Eric Shine,
Yes.
Carol Harmon,
Yes.
Marty Latham,
Yes.
Keith Williams,
Yes.
Paula Allred,
Yes.
Darren Brock,
Yes.
Kamala Lamons,
Yes.
Jerry Foley.
Yes. I'd like to make a motion that we approve the ordinance.
Second.
Yes.
Are we doing a new business before we do old business? You asked to have that stuff moved, not to process it, the business, just to move it from the new business into the old business. Was that approved?
Yes. I asked to move it up for consideration at this time because of Mr. Lindsay guy. An ordinance amending the project plan for redevelopment district in number 1 of the city of Lowell, Arkansas, and prescribing other matters relating thereto. I guess we're ready to vote, aren't we? Roll call, please.
Darren Brock,
Yes.
Jerry Foley,
Yes.
Eric Shine,
Yes.
Keith Williams,
Yes.
Kamala Lamons,
Yes.
Paula Allred,
Yes.
Carol Harmon,
Yes.
Marty Latham.
Yes.
This will be ordinance number 794.
Item B is an ordinance authorizing the issuance and sale of the city's $2.790 million tax increment improvement bonds, redevelopment district number 1 project, series 2007, for the purpose of financing certain improvements within the district, authorizing the execution and delivery of a trust indenture pursuant to which the bond will be issued and secured, authorizing the execution and delivery of a reimbursement agreement in connection with a letter of credit obtained to secure the bonds, authorizing the execution and delivery of an official statement pursuant to which the bonds will be offered, authorizing the execution and delivery of a bond purchase agreement providing for the sale of the bonds, authorizing the execution and delivery of a continuing disclosure agreement, prescribing other matters relating thereto, and declaring a motion. I'm sorry, emergency. Any comments? This is
I work with Morgan Keegan for the underwriters for this bond issue. We sold the bonds yesterday. Like the mayor was saying, the value of the bonds is $2.79 million. The average interest rate on the bonds is 4%. The bonds are set, for the most part, the bonds are set to mature in 2010, 3 years from now. And our plan is at that point we'll reissue a new bond issue to repay this one and take it out to 2029. And hopefully, if the TIP district performs like we think it is, as property values increase, we'll add some more money to that. So hopefully, in 2010, we can add X amount of dollars to that, and you can build some more projects. That's our hope, and that's our goal, and that's what we think is going to happen. The bonds, the $2.79 million worth, they'll provide $2,235,000 in project funds. We're planning on closing around August 28th is the day that we've set. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
That's all. Any comments or questions? I'll entertain a motion to suspend the rules, place on third and final reading by title only.
So moved. I'll second.
Roll call.
Keith Williams,
Yes.
Carol Harmon,
Yes.
Paula Allred,
Yes.
Jerry Foley,
Yes.
Darren Brock,
Yes.
Eric Shine,
Yes.
Kamala Lamons,
Yes.
Marty Latham.
Yes.
An ordinance authorizing the issuance. Did you change it? An ordinance authorizing the issuance and sale of the city's $2,790,000 tax increment improvement bonds, redevelopment district number 1 project, series 2007, for the purpose of financing certain improvements within the district, authorizing the execution and delivery of a trust and indenture pursuant to which the bonds will be issued and secured, authorizing the execution and delivery of a reimbursement agreement with the pledge agreement in connection with the letter of credit obtained to secure the bonds, authorizing the execution and delivery of an official statement pursuant to which the bonds will be authorizing the execution and delivery of a bond purchase agreement, providing for the sale of the bonds, authorizing the execution and delivery of the continuing disclosure agreement, prescribing other matters relating thereto, and declaring an emergency. Any questions? I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'd like to make a motion to approve. No.
Second.
Any questions? Roll call, please.
Carol Harmon,
Yes.
Kamala Lamons,
Yes.
Paula Allred,
Yes.
Darren Brock,
Yes.
Marty Latham,
Yes.
Jerry Foley,
Yes.
Keith Williams,
Yes.
Eric Shine.
Yes.
This will be ordinance number 795.
I'll entertain a motion to enact the emergency clause.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Marty Latham,
Yes.
Darren Brock,
Yes.
Jerry Foley,
Yes.
Paula Allred,
Yes.
Keith Williams,
Yes.
Carol Harmon,
Yes.
Eric Shine,
Yes.
Kamala Lamons.
Yes.
The emergency clause is enacted. At this time, I'd like to take about a 10-minute break so we can sign these papers for Michael Lindsay.
What's that
can-
ordinance?
The last one was 795, 794, and then 795.
I'd like to take about a 10-minute break at this time so we can sign the papers for Michael Lindsay and he can get on his way gathering up our money. Order, please. Next item on the agenda is the committee reports, Parks, Recreation, and Special Events. Sean Ingram.
To give you a brief overview of where we stand on Wardnail Park, the equipment will be turned back in as of August 1st, and we're about 90% complete with what our We're about 90% complete on what our action was to be at this point. The restroom concession stand building's out for bids. We should be hearing back from that next week. BMX Group are waiting for their nonprofit number to be returned to them, and they can start construction on the track. The soccer field's complete. We'll be seeding in it and mulching it tomorrow with the aid of community service workers. Pond expansion will be complete by Friday. We'll begin filling that to see if our spring's going to keep up with the fill rate on it. If not, we have in the budget for a well to be drilled and a pump to as an alternate water source for that. The parking lot pad we hope to be finished with by Tuesday of next week. We'll be putting that out for bids for the asphalt. We had 2 Eagle Scouts that had projects. Matt Fruhoff had his Eagle Scout project was a butterfly garden, and Zach Watts done Martin houses and bat houses that you may have seen if you've been out there, and both of those have been completed. And then lastly, we have the kiddie playground that the committee had okayed will be installed on the first week of September.
Any questions of Sean? Thank you, Sean. Next committee reports are streets and sidewalks and utilities. We had a meeting of these two committees last week, and we came to the conclusion on a proposed 5-year capital project plan, which you all have a copy of. And are there any questions at this time resulting from that? Okay, next item is the ordinance committee. Keith, do you have anything to?
Yeah, the ordinance committee met last Tuesday night at 6 o'clock here in the courtroom. What we went over the original ordinance that we came up with for the to regulate the sale of domestic animals. We kind of went through that and tore that apart a little bit more and finalized that. That's on item 8B, and then we had Tom draft another ordinance for prohibiting the sale of animals, and that is item 8A. Tonight we're going to decide, or maybe just put on a first reading, one of these two ordinances. We'll probably have a discussion on this, probably get a lot of input from the audience. We kind of had a lot of input in that meeting. And then we also drafted up an ordinance for the prescribing. I don't know if that's describing or supposed to be. I guess it is prescribing the powers and duties of the city clerk, treasurer, and we kind of took some. We had some public feedback on that. So anyway, and that is also on tonight's agenda under new business items, item E. That's it. It was exciting.
Okay, any questions?
Keith, whatever happened to the sign ordinance for Dixieland and I-540?
I don't know. You're going to have to talk to Mike Solomon on that. He's working on that one.
We were here before and brought that. We obviously had problems coming up with the boundaries, and that's what we're in the middle of doing right now. Still working on it. So hopefully, probably the next meeting we'll have it to you. It's pretty much done, but I don't want to. I want to make sure I have all my I's dotted and T's crossed. So.
First item on old business is an ordinance prohibiting the sale of animals from certain property within the city of Lowell. Any comments? Speak your name and address, please.
Harry Sayer, 207 South Melody, here in Lowell. Mr. Mayor, distinguished members of the council, ordinance committee, I do thank you for all the hard work that y'all have done on these two ordinances. I hope tonight that y'all will decide on the complete ban of puppy sales or kitten sales or any other animal sales on our street corners and byways of the city of Lowell. If by chance that y'all decide not to ban and go with the regulation ordinance, be sure to keep in mind that the cost of regulating pet sales will be a whole lot more than a complete ban. Our own local animal control officer said that the pickups of dogs and cats in the area, dogs alone for up to the end of June was 166 dogs. And we don't have room in our shelter to care for these many dogs. So, just keep this in mind. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Guy Shoemaker, 315 Center Drive, Lowell. Mr. Mayor, Tom, you too, city council members, when you look at this ordinance, read it carefully, real carefully. Do you want dog sales next to you? Dog sales should be prohibited in the city limits of Lowell unless they are in a retail establishment. Now, if you don't think that's right, maybe Paula's husband might want to set her cars out here on 71B and sell used cars. Or something else. And maybe I got a bunch of junk from about 40 years collected in my attic I'd like to sit out here in the street and sell. But animals should not be sold from any place in the city of Lowell unless it's in a proper retail establishment, licensed, tax ID, right, proper insurance and everything. It is a business and a major business. If you read today's paper, you'll see some dogs were stolen over in Rogers. Those dogs were selling $400 a head and up. Thank you.
Thank you, Guy. Anyone else?
Barbara Cossack, 8452 LaRue Road, Rogers. It is just wrong to sell a live animal without doing the proper screening of the buyers, without the buyers being able to see where these dogs are raised, to find out if they have health certificates for whatever genetic. There are no genetically perfect animals. They should be able to get papers and ask the questions, and selling them on a street corner, you cannot find out where these dogs came from, what the grandparents carried, how careful the breeders have been. It's just wrong. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Council, I hope I've got a stronger voice tonight than what I had last time I spoke to you. I wasn't feeling good. I have a heart condition, but maybe we can hear me tonight.
Speak closer, please.
Pardon?
Closer to the microphone, please, so we can repeat.
I naturally would speak in for our amendment or our ordinance that we worked for so long to draw. I've heard different things about animals. The truth about animals, everyone that has them, like this animal that was here tonight that the man thought so much of, was bought or given to him from someplace. There's no difference when you get to the dogs, the cats, and the puppies than they are the cars, the watermelon, or the corn. Each thing has to be purchased and sold to own it. Puppies out of a pet shop is probably a very small minority of the pets that's owned today. We have sold puppies here in Lowell with the city's blessings for quite some time now. We have our city codes officer here. May I ask him a question?
Yes, you may.
To you, sir. About a year and a half ago, you was one of them that purchased an animal from us, wasn't you? Yes, sir.
probably be the girl that you first you from, wouldn't you? One the same. Let me ask you a question. Are you satisfied with your animal? Was you told the truth about the animal? Was you told anything to make you buy the animal by impulse? Was you just given of your own free American right, the right to buy that animal if you would like to purchase it? And let me ask you another thing. While you're standing, has it had cancer of the hips yet or degenerative diseases of that type? Have you found that to be? And have you found him out running the streets so the dog catchers will pick him up, be part of this number that Mr. Sayers talks about him picking up? The reason for that, you got quite a bit invested in him, haven't you? Yes, thank you, sir. That is only one animal in Lowell, and there are many animals in Lowell that has been purchased from us. And as I said in our, I believe our committee meeting here a few nights ago, there are many, many people that would be happy to stand in the same spot that he just stood and say how they appreciate their animals. Mr. Mayor, I have not done anything to help anybody buy their animals by impulse. But I will tell you this. Let me tell you a little bit of story, because we got time. When Fletcher first bought the Chrysler dealership in Rogers, I went up and bought a new Chrysler. And it was one of them type that looked like the old hen sat down over the chicken back in those years. The time I got home with it, I was quite sick. I didn't realize that I could put that man out of business because I bought that impulse. I didn't keep that car about 4 months, and I like to have paid somebody that got rid of it. And that's just something that we can't do anything about. It's somebody buying something by impulse. As far as being truthful with the animals, I realize there are people that should not be out there. That's the reason for the permits and the way they were drawn up. It would cost $350 a year for someone to buy a permit and be in business to sell those animals. It would cost them $100 for 90 days. That pretty well takes care of all of your problems as far as people that you wouldn't want out there selling. They're not going to pay it. I'll give you a good for instance. Last Saturday, Miss Pierce, the city clerk at Springdale, works well with us. At their invitation, we were down there because they had some young people playing ball in the arena down there out of Springfield, Missouri. We sent several puppies back up to Springfield, Missouri from there. And she said, you know, this was last week, and I'd be happy for anyone to call her. You know, you are the only man that walks in and buys your permits and does things right. And we will protect you out there. And that's the way Lowell should feel, that the ones that does business right. We're not in the business of cutting people out of business. We're in the business of helping people in business and getting along. After all, we're looking at $3 gasoline, $4 milk. People has to make a living. And so I would ask you to look this ordinance over that was first given and see that it does cover. And there was another made tonight. It would cost a lot more with our police force to help get rid of those people that you wouldn't want, more so than if you had it by permit. That also has not been proven so in Springdale. And those that are going to come up and sit beside the road are going to be here Saturday. That same police force is going to have to stop and ask them to leave. And so there's no difference there whatsoever. As far as the number of dogs they put in the pound here, there's nothing in the world that I, you, or no one else can do about that. That's just something that happens. But the puppy sales are a sale that helps people. You read a letter tonight of a man that thought that much of his animals. And I'd like to think that we had puppies that people thought that much of. And we have names and addresses of everyone that we have ever sold a pet to
that the committee here has saw them in committee meetings, and they can contact them at any time. And we do contact them and ask them how they're getting along with their pets. A lot of people that's never had a pet, you would be surprised that would have a little bit of trouble when they got a pet, not knowing how to feed it and care for it. And by telephone, we take and handle most of that. And so the business is fair. It's a fair practice. And when we get to talking about selling cars, they are sold beside the road. When we get to talking about selling our garden fruits, they are sold beside the road. When we get to talking about selling our T-shirts, they are sold beside the road. And I'm about 66 years old. I don't care to go inside four walls, but I sure would like to have the money to help me buy groceries up. And so I'm in support of our amendment there for our permits.
Thank you, Mr. Wood.
Mr. Wood, could you state your name and address, please, for the record?
My name is Tommy Wood, 816 Sarah, and 717 also. I am a pastor, 717 Lincoln Hill Circle in Van Buren. I'm retiring now back into here. And before I left here, I lived at 219 Bluff, down here in the Center Point Edition.
Thank you. Any other comments? I'll entertain a motion to suspend the rules and place on third and final reading.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
we've got two ordinances here. Maybe we should sit down and kind of, or just, kind of discuss both of these ordinances, and there may be some that don't support the prohibiting, and there may be some that don't support regulating. I don't know.
Is that all right with the council? No objections? We'll move to item B, an ordinance to regulate the sale of domestic animals within the city of Lowell and declaring an emergency. Any comments? Any questions? Back to item A, an ordinance prohibiting the sale of animals from certain property within the city of Lowell.
Mayor, I'm sorry, I do have a comment.
Oh, yes.
Regarding prohibiting of sale of animals, I want to make sure that I understand properly. This is essentially on commercial property only. So if individuals choose to sell these animals from their home, that is not prohibited.
Well, if they do it regularly, they'll be required to have a business license and be in a properly zoned area. If they just happen to have a dog that they want to sell, and it's like a garage sale, they can do that. But if they're going to do it regularly as a business, they're going to need a business license, which means they're not going to be able to do it from a residential zone. They've got to be in a properly zoned area.
That's not really clarified in either ordinance. And so that's one thing I wanted to make sure that was clear.
Calling it a prohibition, y'all, but it's not really a prohibition. It's a prohibition from certain areas. It's a prohibition from selling them outside. What you're doing is, what the committee decided to do is offer the choice whether you're going to allow them to be sold outside or not. The prohibition just says you can't sell outside. You have to sell from a permanent structure. So the permanent structure would be just like today, any other kind of a product that's sold from inside in the permanent structure. Proper zoning that's assumed. I think you're always going to have to, whatever business you run, whether it be a home business or any kind of retail. But so you've got the choice whether you're going to regulate them outside or just say no outside, only inside. That's kind of the choice y'all have before you.
And this ordinance states that there's 4 walls and a roof, that they have to be sold out of through that.
Yes, ma'am.
That's what the first ordinance means.
We're calling the prohibition, yes.
Right.
What prevents an individual from running an ad in the paper? I mean, is that going to be monitored to prevent someone from selling animals from their home without a business license?
No, ma'am. I mean, we might want to put Billy back on the stand back there. Remember, you're under oath, sir. I don't mean to cross-examine him, but Billy's complaint-driven. If someone were to notice their neighbor had constant traffic going up, and I don't know if he's had one of those before, that's why I asked him to come up, but then that would be a complaint-driven situation, and if someone was running any kind of business, whether, it's a barber shop or anything else out of their home, he would probably get a complaint.
I got kind of a question that maybe people are wondering and everything. If, for instance, these people and these ordinances pass, and these people want to sell their puppies on the street like they've been doing, okay, do they have to get a business license plus a permit, or they just need to get a permit since they're selling outside the four walls?
Billy, under the regulation, if you're allowed to do it outside, if that one passes, they'll get a business license, and the permit's going to be up to you, but a business license is going to be required, and it has a cost.
Well, on the fireworks, that they sell outside, for instance, that we sell once a year, they just sell them a permit. They don't sell them a business license.
The ordinance that regulates it would require a business license.
So they would need to get a business license?
It's a permit, Tom.
Sorry, reverse that. Permit.
Okay. But I would, so they're going to have to buy a business license plus a permit too, if both of these pass. No?
They won't both pass.
They won't both
Okay,
pass.
okay.
That's a little bitty explosion in the room.
That's what I was wondering about. Okay.
I see one of them says business license, Billy, if you're inside, that is, because it would be a business. Outside, it's something else.
Okay. Any more questions from anybody?
Thank you, Billy.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? I will entertain a motion to suspend the rules and place on third and final reading by title only. That's the ordinance prohibiting the sale of animals from certain property within the city.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to accept this, approve it on third and final reading.
I'd like to make a comment, actually. Maybe we should place this on first reading, just to, if there are any more comments, maybe someone didn't make it here tonight. I don't know if I feel comfortable approving this tonight.
Why did the ordinance committee present it to the council to be approved for tonight if you don't approve of it?
We submitted both of these ordinances for the council to entertain. You can put it on first reading and pass it in the next council meeting. There's really no need to pass it tonight.
You can add the second and third readings next council meeting. If you want to do that, Carol has made a motion to pass it for third and final reading. You would have to turn down that motion, vote no, then we would go back and vote yes or no on the first reading.
Carol, this just gives the citizens just another opportunity to come in and either say they support it or they don't. Does
anyone want to second Carol's motion? With no second, the motion dies. I'll now entertain a motion to put it on the first reading.
I'd like to make a motion to put this on the first reading.
Second that.
Any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Carol Harmon?
Yes.
Paula Allred?
Yes.
Jerry Foley?
No.
Eric Shine?
Yes.
Kamala Lamons?
Yes.
Keith Williams?
Yes.
Marty Latham?
Yes.
Darren Brock?
Yes.
The motion failed on the first reading. have the second reading at the next council meeting.
Mayor, so we're on the first reading, and we don't get to read it by title only because that wasn't the motion. So, Mayor, should I do the honors and read it for you on the first reading? Okay. An ordinance prohibiting the sale of animals of certain property within the city of Lowell, whereas the council of Lowell has determined that the selling of animals at temporary locations along busy streets and highways and parking lots and other areas pose a risk to health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of the city of Lowell, and now, therefore, be it ordained by the city of Lowell, Council of Lowell, Arkansas, Section 1. Any person who sells animals in the city limits of the city of Lowell shall first obtain a city of Lowell business license in accordance with local and state law. 2. Except for established animal business enterprises with permanent structures and the Lowell Animal Shelter, the sale, distribution, and giving away of animals from public property and from commercially and industrial zone land is prohibited. Section 3. Penalty for violation. Any person found to have violated this ordinance shall be guilty of a misdemeanor which shall be punishable by a fine of $200, $400 for the second offense, and $600 for the third and each offense after the third. Each day a person violates this ordinance shall be a separate offense. Section 4. Any ordinance or parts of ordinances in conflict with this ordinance are hereby repealed. These are under the conflict. Section 5. In the event any one or more of the provisions contained in this ordinance shall be, for any reason, held by a court of law to be invalid, illegal, or unenforceable in any respect, such invalidity, illegality, or unenforceability shall not affect the remaining provisions of the ordinance, and this ordinance shall be construed as a such invalid, illegal, or unenforceable provision or provisions had never been contained herein, passed and approved this 24th day of July 2007. That'll be changed because it won't be on. If it gets passed, it won't be today. But that's the first reading.
Can we take a small break?
We'll take a 10-minute break. Come to order, please. Item B. Do I hear a motion to table item B since we're considering item A?
Mr. Mayor, can we just skip that item, or do we need to table it?
We should table it.
I'll make a motion to table that item.
Here, a second. Roll call, please.
Paula Allred,
Yes.
Carol Harmon,
Yes.
Keith Williams.
Yes.
Jerry Foley,
No.
Kamala Lamons.
Yes.
Eric Shine,
Yes.
Darren Brock,
Yes.
Marty Latham.
Yes.
Do that one. Oh, here. We've done that. We've done that. Okay. Next item is item C, an ordinance amending the City of Lowell Code of Ordinances, Section 8-102, by rezoning certain lands from neighborhood office NO to commercial. Michael?
Did everybody get my email with the map? Okay. Does anybody have any questions where this is?
Is this the property there just on the northwest corner of Oakwood and 540?
Yes.
Okay.
And the Planning Commission passage unanimously. It's basically changing from neighborhood office, which really doesn't fit in our future land use plan. I believe our future land use plan right now calls for retail there, but I think commercial would be fine. There's some other commercial properties in that area. So,
Mike, do you know what the land use for Rogers is? That also borders south of Rogers. Do you know what that is?
I do not.
I know in the past, this came before the Planning Commission maybe like a year or 2 years ago, And the reason that we didn't rezone it to commercial, we rezoned it from, it actually was, I think, like residential, and we rezoned it from residential to neighborhood office. And I think the reason we did that, if I remember correctly, was because the roads to that property are not that great. And commercial usage usually is a heavy usage, and in order to have access to that property, you actually will have to go through residential areas to get to that. And I think that's one of the reasons. Was that considered by the Planning Commission?
They did not ask about that. I think part of the reason they didn't ask about that is because of the Dixieland Street development that we're getting ready to bid and we're going out on, because that's going to tie in directly to Oakwood and will give the access to the property. They also, it'd be nice to, or I should add that there was also a conditional use permit granted for this property. The owners rent out half of the property, and the south half of the property, they had a conditional use permit that was passed for to sell landscaping stone, which is a commercial use. So,
I guess that's my only concern is if there's a lot of truck traffic getting to that property, I'd hate to see it go down Robinson and across Oakwood through there where there's a lot of homes. Maybe if we, look at making that a no truck route, so that any traffic that goes through there is going to have to go down Goat Springs Road, or North Goat Springs Road. I know I've seen a lot of dump trucks coming in through there.
I was going to say, normally anytime we have anything coming as big as that, we do tell them, to come on from the highway the other way. We don't ever give them directions to our office through that area. So, that's all I can really say on that point of view.
You guys are still doing painting there, I guess? What do you guys?
Well, actually, we stopped Caesar's painting. It's Caesar's just construction. We built houses, and that's pretty much what we're doing right now. The reason that we are trying to get this commercial, like you said, we have tried before, and you guys, I guess, didn't see fit that it should be commercial. And now, it's a couple years have passed, or a year has passed, and we just, we'd like to take the opportunity now, for our future to do this as a company, to expand possibly. And I already have talked to Mike, and I do know that if I do decide to do anything with that, whether to build a bigger office, anything, I know that I do have to inform all of you of that. I'm not going to, try and go behind anyone's back and get this and then, boom, and start building, large buildings.
I think also we granted a temporary, it was a conditional use to sell, was it RVs?
Yeah, that isn't there anymore, though. That's gone.
Okay, so you guys aren't going to be selling RVs or trailers?
We're not going to be doing any kind of thing. It's going to be construction, and like Mike had said, on the other side of us, we have someone renting it to sell stone. So.
Any other questions?
Mr. Mayor, do you know when, I haven't seen a schedule, do you know when Dixieland will be complete up to Oakwood?
We'll go out for bids first part of August, and the engineers tell us it'll take 10 to 12 months to build it.
So we're looking at the end of next year, or middle of next year?
Middle to 3/4 of the way through, probably, yes.
I guess that's my only concern, on this property, because I know it's right there on 540, and I have no problem with making that commercial. It's just the traffic. When commercial usage, you can.
What we're planning on doing is going to create that much else traffic. The only thing that does come to our office are cars. We have a backhoe and stuff like that we pull with the truck. But other than that, we don't have anything coming in or out. So. I don't see that really being a problem on my perspective. I don't see, the traffic changing that much. So, and I've been honest up till now. So, if I did think that I was going to be bringing in heavy equipment, I would tell you guys, and I really don't see that happening.
Isn't the easiest way to get to that to go north on Goat Springs Road?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It is. It's to come in from the highway through that way.
That would go through commercial development.
It is all, and I have the
You're right,
I'm sure
Michael.
you guys are very familiar with this already, if you'd like to see it.
That's correct. I think you're going to see most of it come in from North Goat Springs.
Any other questions?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
from the way that I see this, anybody coming down the bypass to deliver or pick up anything would get off on 264, go straight to Gold Springs and directly to his place of business. They wouldn't need to be going down 71 Business
No.
and down Robinson Street to get there.
Thank you. I think it's right.
I will tell you that I think it's been about 2 years ago, my mom had rented a U-Haul trailer and had to return it there, and I didn't know where Oakwood was, and pretty much got lost going that way off of Robinson. Once I figured out where it was, I was like, oh yeah, I know right how to get to it, but I would agree with you that the best way is to go on North Goat Springs.
I would suggest also looking at making Oakwood a no-truck route also, because I have seen some stuff go through there.
Yeah, we can definitely look at that.
Oakwood is not a truck route, is it?
What's that?
Oakwood is not a truck route.
It's not, but there's nothing prohibiting.
And I need to go back and read that because I'm not sure exactly how what we've said. I know there are also a couple of roads that we have said this is a no truck route, but we haven't visited that in a long time. So,
Darren?
I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules, place this on third and final reading, read by title only, please.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Paula Allred,
Yes.
Carol Harmon,
Yes.
Marty Latham,
Yes.
Eric Shine,
Yes.
Keith Williams,
Yes.
Darren Brock,
Yes.
Kamala Lamons,
Yes.
Jerry Foley.
Yes.
An ordinance amending the City of Lowell Code of Ordinances, Section 8-102, by rezoning certain lands from Neighborhood Office, NO, to Commercial C. I entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Kamala Lamons,
Yes.
Jerry Foley,
Yes.
Eric Shine,
Yes.
Darren Brock,
Yes.
Keith Williams,
Yes.
Carol Harmon,
Yes.
Marty Latham,
Yes.
Paula Allred.
Yes.
That would be ordinance number 796.
Next item on the agenda is approval to fill a position of administrative assistant. We've changed the title. This job is not budgeted, but there is money in the budget, so no additional funds will be required. This position would report to me. We're behind on a lot of our work. We'll use this person, to do some floating. We had some areas that we're behind in. That would come first to catch up, set up files and so forth. And it will not require any additional funds. Any questions?
Will this job be put up for an ad in the paper?
Yes. Any questions?
What's the salary going to be, do you know?
We don't know yet. It depends on the qualifications.
You know how much we have budgeted for that position?
We haven't budgeted any for it, Eric, but there's money in the budget to cover it. I'll entertain a motion to approve the filling of the position.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Jerry Foley,
Yes.
Marty Latham,
Yes.
Darren Brock,
Yes.
Carol Harmon,
No.
Paula Allred,
Yes.
Kamala Lamons,
Yes.
Keith Williams,
Yes.
Eric Shine.
Yes.
Next item on the agenda is an ordinance prescribing the powers and duties of the city clerk treasurer, rescinding ordinance number 443, amending ordinance number 536, and section 2-152 of the Lowell Code of Ordinances for the city of Lowell, Arkansas. Any questions, comments?
Maybe this goes to Mr. Keklak. I looked at this and looked every one of these codes and ordinances up, and back to 1992, 97, 2000, 2002, up to now. And the city of Lowell in no way can agree upon what the state says that the city clerk should do. There's always been a conflict.
Tom, correct me if I'm wrong. This ordinance is just a housekeeping ordinance that kind of just kind of cleans up some of the previous ordinances that we have had. Kind of specifies that we follow, that we are in compliance with the state laws. Those are the job duties, and just kind of gave the city clerk some additional duties. Tom?
You guys both made statements. No one asked a question.
I said correct me if I'm wrong.
Carol, you were making a statement that says we haven't agreed. I'm not sure. I'm not in a position to agree or disagree with you, which I think what you're about to ask me to do. But I think this ordinance is in compliance, the one that's up for consideration. Keith, would I consider this housekeeping? Sure. It's what Carol may have found, and what I think Mary had found, and what we looked at, we found is over the years, as ordinances got passed that addressed the clerk, treasurer, and clerk offices, they were a little bit, if not in conflict with each other, they didn't exactly down the same track. This one puts us on what, and you all know my typical method is the comply with state law where you're supposed to track.
Absolutely.
And that's what I've done in this. That's what the committee asked me to do, and that's what we came up with in this one.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
What happened to, on section 2-152, what happened to the second paragraph requiring me to attend meetings? There's nothing in this that requires me to attend meetings. There's also nothing in here requiring posting of a bond. And those are not in the ACA 1443-506.
I don't think we're here to amend the ordinance.
Well, I'm just pointing out that there are things that are omitted that are still up in the air as a question, because what stands now is there were these two other paragraphs and they're not mentioned at all here, and so I just wanted to point out that those sections are not addressed.
Yes.
The bond one is easy. Everyone's covered by a blanket bond now, so you don't need to put that in ordinance. That's state law. On attending meetings, I do remember seeing that in one of them back in the past that Carol, you may have seen, or Jeanette, you may be referring to. I mean, I guess the committee just didn't choose to sort of restate that. I think the minutes requirement sort of assumes that you'll attend the meetings. I've never seen it where the clerk tried to keep minutes without attending the meetings, although perhaps it's happened. But you certainly could. You could amend the ordinance to put attendance of meetings in there if you wanted to. I don't think you'd need to, Jeanette. I think that's sort of assumed.
But you know yourself, Tom, can't assume anything. It has to be in writing. The assumption gets you in trouble.
Well, I guess if it's not in there and we pass it and the clerk starts not attending the meetings, you guys can address that. I doubt that would happen. I'm sure Jeanette's going to continue to come to the meetings.
Yeah, but what about the next clerk?
You know, you could put in there, as Bill Fleming, who was a general counsel of Municipal League for 45 years, God rest his soul, used to say, you could write an ordinance that said the city clerk shall purchase a cot, place it in City Hall, and stay in City Hall 24 hours a day, 8 days a week. But you can't enforce that. There's no way to enforce it. So, you certainly are free to put it in there, y'all. And Carol, that makes sense for amendment. But you can't enforce that, and you're just going to have to hope that your city clerk does keep the minutes like state law requires.
Well, the point is that it was in there and it's not now. That was just the point.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but the salary is based per meeting. That's how the salary is set by budget, is on a per meeting basis, so.
I don't think it is for that position.
It is.
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
I think it's a flat annual on that one.
Yeah, but it's also based on, that annual rate came based on so many meetings per year.
I don't know if that's still written in there or not that way, but.
There goes the assumption again.
Any other comments? I'll entertain a motion to suspend the rules and place on third and final reading by title only.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to move that we suspend all rules, place this on third and final reading by title only.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Eric Shine,
Yes.
Kamala Lamons,
Yes.
Carol Harmon,
No.
Paula Allred,
Yes.
Keith Williams,
Yes.
Jerry Foley,
Yes.
Darren Brock,
Yes.
Marty Latham.
Yes.
An ordinance prescribing the powers and duties of the city clerk treasurer, rescinding ordinance number 443, amending ordinance number 536, and section 2-152 of the Lowell Code of Ordinance for the city of Lowell, Arkansas. Any questions? I'll entertain a motion to approve the ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Darren Brock,
Yes.
Paula Allred,
Yes.
Jerry Foley,
Yes.
Carol Harmon,
No.
Kamala Lamons,
Yes.
Marty Latham,
Yes.
Eric Shine,
Yes.
Keith Williams.
Yes.
That will be ordinance number 797.
Next item is setting of committee meetings. Do you have one in mind, Sean, for parks at this time?
That's a conflict of interest.
Yes, Beth. Yes, we have. Yes. Go ahead. Thank you, Beth.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to move that we place Mrs. Allred on the Parks Committee in Sean's vacant seat there.
Second that.
Any questions? Entertain a motion. Oh, roll call, please.
Marty Latham,
Yes.
Darren Brock,
Yes.
Paula Allred,
Yes.
Jerry Foley,
Yes.
Eric Shine,
Yes.
Kamala Lamons,
Yes.
Keith Williams,
Yes.
Carol Harmon.
Yes.
What about the parks meetings, Sean? Keith?
You know, yeah. When's a good time to meet, Sean? Not Monday. I think. Don't we have something going on Tuesday? Would it be too long to meet on the 6th? Would that be too long, or? A lot. Seemed like there's something on Tuesday night, but Tuesday night would be
Have
fine.
anything? Do you have anything done Tuesday night?
You want to do 6 o'clock?
31st.
City Hall?
No planned meeting of the Streets and Sidewalks Committee, Personnel Committee, or Finance Committee, Utilities Committee. How about the Ordinance Committee?
Oh, I'm sure we need to meet.
Okay.
We've been meeting a lot. I want to propose the 6th of August.
That's Planning Commission.
All righty. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
He hadn't set his meeting yet.
We've met before during the Planning Commission meeting, but
You said August the 6th.
I have a hard time meeting on Mondays, honestly. Monday is my worst day.
I guess we can. I don't. Do we want to meet before the next council meeting, or will it be okay to meet after?
Why are we going to meet?
I think we have to discuss the door-to-door sales. I think there's still an
We
ordinance.
still have that one hanging out there, don't we?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, if it needs to be after next meeting, I don't know that it's a big rush right now.
We could do the Tuesday following the council meeting on the 14th. So set that. Yeah, 6 o'clock.
So when is it?
August the 14th, here in City Hall at 6 o'clock.
Here at City Hall?
Or here in the city court, I'm sorry.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. If no objections, the meeting is adjourned.